Okay, let's start today. Let's see what we have. Okay, so it's tagged as easy, but as you know, sometimes they do consume a little bit extra time. What maximum product of 2 digits. You're given a positive integer and return the maximum product of any 2 digits of n. Okay, you may use the same digit twice if it appears more than once and ends. Okay, so initially what they're asking us is, what is the better way? The first thing that comes to my mind is, let's say if you're given 1, 2, and 3, so we need to get each digit. I don't know, bits. I don't know if there's a method in bits. I'm not too familiar with bits, so I think there might be an easier way with bits. But one thing is, you divide by 10, right? So you get 3 remainder. You keep it as max 1 and max 2, right? We need top 2 values, right? You may use the same digit twice if it appears more than once and then. Okay. And max 1. Okay, so we need let's say initially we get 3. So I make max equal to 3 and max 2 is, no, we can't have max 2 as 3, but then we divide by 2, right? But if 2 is less than 3, we keep it as is, and then for max 2 we check 2 again. If 2 is less than greater than whatever we have right now, right? Okay, I'm not using a keyboard or like a mouse today, so it's a little weird using my touchpad. But how will we get 2 different numbers? So first we divide by 10, we get 3. So I assign a variable 3 as max for now, and then next time the number is 12, we get 2. Max stays the same because 2 is less than 3, and max 2 gets 2. Let's say there is 4 here, 423 instead of 1. Then I get 4. Okay, 4 is less than 3. So if max changes, then our 3 should become max 2, right? That's what should happen. So max. So if, okay, let's try to see. Okay, so for, okay, while n divided by 10 is greater than 0, we can, while n is greater than 0, right? First, your integer answer equals to 0. Let's also see how n could be 10 to the power of 9. See, then thing is, the max thing we could get is 9, right? Or what we do is we get all the digits. Let's think. Get all digits and put it in array. That's one way. And then sort. But that will be like O of n plus O of n log n, because we're getting all the digits and we're also sorting, but we need to get it while getting all the digits. So we also want to stop if max 1 equals to 9 and max 2 is also equals to 9. Okay, let's see. If both max 1 and max 2 equal to 9, we stop. That's the maximum value we could have, right? What if it was 99999? Okay, so what we do, integer max 1 equals to, okay, let me put it here. Integer max 1 equals to 0, right? Because integer max 2 is also equals to Let me just say max 1 for now. Okay. Okay. Integer remainder, or we can do digit equals to n modulus 10. So right, if I divide 90 divided by 8 equals modulus 8 will be 8, and right, and then max 1 equals to math dot max of what, max 1 itself and digit. So this way we get our first value, right, and then if max 1 changes, okay, so initialize it with okay, this way we get our max value. Should I add, so let's say whatever digit I pick, okay, so we get the first max value. Now the other max value, they're saying you may use the same digit twice if it appears maximum 2 equals to max of, okay, so I do integer max 2 equals to 0 initially. So when we get a first digit, I initialize maximum 2 equals to, or maximum 1 equals to digit, right, and then I should do math dot max, right, of equals to 0. So see, even though it's easy, I mean it's kind of tricky. You're given an integer n, return the maximum product of any two digits in n. Yeah, I know how to get digits, right? We can separate out digits. How do we get the top two max digits? So if I'm breaking my number like 31 into, let's try to draw it again. So let's say if my number is 314, right? And how will I, because I'm gonna go left to right, right, when I'm dividing. I get 4 first. I assign 4 to m1, right? M1 is 4 because we do matter max of, okay. And now M2 is not, M2 currently is 0. Okay, so M2 is, let's say if there was only 4, right? If there was only single digit and M2 equals to 0, then we just then we have to return, if M2 equals to 0, we just return M1. That's our answer. But now, okay, this case I get single digit we are good on. We have 4, right? So then we move left, we get 1, right? Our M1, we compare 1 and 4, right? M1 stays as 4, and M2 should be what? How will I assign? Like in the same loop. Okay, how will I assign it in the same loop? If I 31, right? We have 31 left. So why don't I just keep, no. What if I do 4, no. I get 1, right? This is annoying, even though it's easy. It's labeled easy. And does brute. I don't want to use brute force, bro. Okay. This is exactly what I want to do. Like, but I'm having update the first MAC based on the obtained remainder. Okay, so okay, let's think of it as we get a remainder, right? Right. Is it given n is greater than equal to, oh, okay, it's great. Oh, it's obviously okay, n is greater than equal. What if it was 10? Max 1 is 1, max 2 is the second number 0. If it's 10, the answer is 0, right? The method is convert into string, right? You convert 100,000 into string and then into jar array and then sort mathematically how. And okay, so these are two methods first. Okay, for now let's not think about how. So we have answer, and n is given, n is an integer, right? So excellent. We are given n is a 2-digit number, right? N starts from a 2-digit number. So what if I do initialize instead of 123, or like let's say it's 220. Oh, 1 second. Let me erase it. Like let's say I have 423. So n is a 2-digit number, right? It starts from a 2-digit number. So let me somehow initially divide n by 10. Modulus 10, we get our max 1, and I also assign modulus by 100, we get our max 2, and then we get 4, right? Now what I want to do is, okay, so then while we change our n to n equals to n divided by 100, that is a new n, so we are left with 4. We have our max 1, max 2, and we have 4. Let's say there was 1 here. Let's make we are left with 14 for the sake of the problem, okay? And our max 1, integer max 1 and max 2, right? So 14, now we get our, I need to have like a property where it change is set to true. Like if I know if my max 1 is changed, okay, now I'm 14, right? M1 is 3, M2 is 2, max 2. Now I check, M1 is equal to max of 4 that we will get divided by 10 and 3, so we get max is equal to 4. I've gotten this. Then the 3 I make it into a temp variable. Let's say I put 3 in a temp variable before changing m. Okay, and okay, so I have it in a temporary variable 3. So let's say I initially in temp equals to m1 right here. So I check m1 equals to mat.max off. Okay, yeah, I got it now. I think I just need a temporary variable. Okay, so what happens here is initialize max1 equals to n divided by n modulus 10, and right, n equals to n divided by 10, right. Max2 equals to again n modulus 10, n equals to n divided by 10, right. So here, while n is greater than 0, right, what do we do? Integer digit is equal to, we initialize digit to n modulus 10, right, and then I have a temp variable that is equal to max1, and I do max1 equals to math dot max of what digit and current max1, right. Temp was our max1, and now I change my max1 to whatever. Okay, I check if temp is equal to max1, but there's also a case, right, where I have a same value that is repeating twice. If right, what about the edge case where like let's say this was 4 and here it's 4, then what? Okay, and then max2 is equal to math dot max of, can I have max2 itself, comma max1, comma temp, right. Is this correct or no? If I do this, okay, let me just to simplify, make it like more consistent. I have max1 and then I do digit max1 and digit gets changed. Okay, I want to see if temp is not equal to max1 after its change, then we do max2 equals to okay, if well, that means are not equal to, let me do if temp1 is if temp1 was 3 and max1 was, if temp is less than max1, that we, the new max1 we got, max2 should be math dot max of, sorry, if the temporary digit is less than math dot max of what, if the temporary is less than math dot max of, okay, if temp is less than max1, that means that max1 got changed. Math2 would be equal to math dot max 2 comma max1, sorry, comma temp, right. And max2 equal to, we got a max1 was changed, if let's say temporary is greater than max 1, isn't this sufficient? Right, let's think about it for this code. So let's say initially max 1 is at 4, right? If temp is less than equal to, because if temp is greater than max 1, right, that means that max 1 will change. If the old value was less than equal to max 2, right, max 1, then the second maximum should be checked between the old value and current maximum, right? If the old value was less than equal to this, if the old value is greater, then our max 1 will remain the same. If the old value is greater than the new value, we just check else. Our second value, that means our older value, is to math dot max of, if our older value is greater than max 1, then we do math dot max of max 2 comma digit, right? And then let me just cross this out, because command X, I think this makes sense, and then we return. Return max 1 times max 2. Let me remove this answer, I don't need this variable. Let's try to run this. Okay, did I put an extra bracket somewhere? Okay, that is closed. While loop, while n is, oh, I forgot to update n to, right, I haven't updated n divided equals to 10. Let's try to run it now. Okay, 2 cases passed. What's happening with the third case? Output is 16, but I'm getting, just multiplying 4 and 4. Okay, 124, right? What happens with 124? Max 1 gets 4, max 2 gets 2, and then, okay, so our digit is 1. I put temporary old 1 equals to old becomes max 1, that is 4, and which remains the same. If then our old was 4. Oh yeah, so here is an issue. If my old is 4 and the newer one would be, okay, so newer one doesn't change. I need to detect a change, right? It's not detecting. If temp is less than max 1, that means I think it's 124, right? I have 4 and 2 as max 1 and max 2. Digit is 1, our temporary is 4, and then our max 1 becomes 4 and 1, which will be 1. Right? If I don't have an equals to, that means our older is less than the new value, which it isn't. Then max 2 would be, okay, let's try to run it this way. If older is greater than the new value, then okay, I think that equal to sign is the issue here. Okay, but let's see. I think there might be some edge cases that are not correct. Okay, guys, we did it. I don't know how long it took. I should have timed it, but okay, that's good. Oh, even though it was easy, I mean it's. I'm happy. I'm happy right now. That's what I'm saying. Okay.